Greetings, and thank you for being here this afternoon. The Prime Minister and I are here today at the One Planet Summit as two champions of ambition that are determined to lead by examples. That is why this week, the Marshall Islands has published its 2050 climate strategy, which charts a path to the net zero emissions. We are the first island nation to do so, and one of the only 10 countries that have produced a long-term decarbonization strategy such as this. It also includes a big focus on adaptation planning, which I am determined to make a hallmark of my administration. Ambition requires vision, and that is what this strategy called the Tile-Tilio, or lighting the way in Marshallese, is about. But you also need to know what is required to get there, and this strategy has helped inform our own short-term decision-making already. That is why I have also announced that we will be able to use these 2050 strategies to update the ambition of the emission reduction targets, or NDCs, we set in 2015 in the lead up to Paris. We now need every other country to follow our lead. If we can do it, so can others, including the big emitters. To help with this, I'm also pleased to confirm that on 22nd of November, I will convene a landmark virtual climate summit held entirely online as part of our presidency of the Climate Vulnerable Forum, an alliance of almost 50 developing countries. The summit is open to every country, and I'm encouraging my fellow world leaders to submit a statement or to participate live and explain how they are prepared to step up and do more by 2020. Already, we have had interest from Canada, Bangladesh, Vietnam, and many others that they will participate, along with many other Pacific Island countries. More details are available on the website for the Climate Vulnerable Forum. I encourage everyone to join us, whether they are a member of the CVF or not. The summit is part of an arc of ambition through to 2020, coming as it does shortly after the Global Climate Action Summit earlier this month, and this One Planet Summit after the IPCC special report and right before the Talanoa Dialogue in December. But our biggest opportunity to then deliver the ambition that is needed will be the UN Secretary General's Climate Summit a year from now. It is here that we need every country in the world to do three things. First, to explain how they will increase the ambition of their NDCs by 2020, as they are required to do so under the Paris Agreement. Second, to table strategies with an end date of 2050 to reach net zero. And third, to deliver more finance for those of us that need it most, especially to help with adaptation. Ladies and gentlemen, put simply, if we do not rapidly and significantly increase global ambition by 2020, then our countries are at risk. My country will sink, literally. But as recent weather events have shown, no country will be immune. That is why we now need every country to follow our leads. It's time to step up. Finally, I wish to congratulate Fiji on the announcement that the Prime Minister is about to make. Congratulations, Mr. Prime Minister. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Excellencies, members of the media. Bulavinaka and good afternoon. Let me begin by congratulating Excellency President Heine on launching the Marshall Islands long-term decarbonization pathway. Thank you. This week, becoming the first island nation to do so and the 10th country overall. I would also like to thank President Heine for wonderful climate leadership more generally, in particular as President of the Climate Vulnerable Forum, as well as for convening the High Ambition Coalition. Thank you, Your Excellency. Members of the media, today I'm very pleased to announce that Fiji will deliver an enhanced emission reduction target. When? By next year. And we all know the reason why, particularly when we contribute so little to the warming that threatens our planet. Because we are determined to do what we are asking others to do and to lead by example. We are engaging all sectors of the economy to prepare a long-term decarbonization strategy for real net zero emissions by 2050, which will inform the preparation of the new NDC. This means that Fiji's NDC will no longer cover just the energy sector, but potentially other critical sectors such as land transport, maritime transport, domestic aviation, waste, agriculture, and forestry. As part of this comprehensive whole of economy approach, we have identified the potential evolution of those sectors in business as usual, high ambition and very high ambition scenarios. This has included identifying feasible low carbon development options that have the potential to reduce carbon emissions, enhance carbon sinks, and build resilience. We will announce the full details of this strategy at COP24. With this announcement today, members of the media and Your Excellency, we join our friends in the Marshall Islands to become the first two countries to signal our unreserved intentions to raise the ambition of our NDC by 2020. While there is certainly pride attached in being amongst the first, I can also say, and I'm sure President Heine would agree, at the moment, it's far too lonely up here. In the end, this isn't the race against time. It isn't the race against each other, it's a race against time. Time is running out only when many others, including much larger emitters, join us in committing to strengthen targets, will we tip the scales back in the planet's favor and put the world back on track to achieving the temperature goals set by the Paris Agreement. I know that many countries are already working in this direction, and I encourage them in their efforts. I look forward to hearing what they have to share in the coming months, including at some of the important milestones coming up, such as the virtual summit of the Climate Vulnerable Forum and Talanoa Dialogue at COP24 this year, and the UN Secretary General Summit, of course, next year. To others, I say this, it's decision time. Collectively, it's time to decide what kind of future we want, and then to do what it takes to make it happen. And then to do, the current commitments we have all made under the Paris Agreement have put us in the race. But as I've said, we're currently running far too slowly to have any chance of winning. If we define winning as preserving the quality of life on Earth as we know it, we will win or lose this race altogether. The good news is that we have the training and the equipment we need. It's just a question of whether we have the stamina and the ability to dig deep to find our extra reserves of power. And I believe the answer to this question, in part, is found in the Talanoa Dialogue, a process based on the concept of Talanoa, an open and honest, respectful process of dialogue used in communities in Fiji and other Pacific nations. The idea of Talanoa is to move the world beyond blame games, finger pointing, and zero-sum negotiations in order to bring the best idea to the surface and share them, all in an effort to give political leaders an inspiration the tools and the partnerships they need to prepare more ambitious emission reduction targets by 2020. One of the greatest examples of the power of Talanoa was last fortnight's Global Climate Action Summit, convened by my friend and special envoy to states and regions, Californian Governor Jerry Brown. Investors, cities, states, civil society groups, and others showed us a number of ways that countries can harness all this progress and put it to use to strengthen climate ambition at the national level. I have said before that I fear too many people continue to underestimate the peril we are in because of climate change. But let us not also underestimate our collective ability to solve the problems. Exponential technological change is already happening, which can be a game changer. We have the ability to change our energy systems, to draw down carbon into our forests, mangroves, and soils, and to make more efficient use of our resources. Today represents two small steps towards forward from two small island nations. This is a start. But what we need now is one big global leap forward. It's up to all of us to make sure we don't fall short of our potential, and then to ensure that we win the race against time. Thank you.